We get to the 1960s and everything's still sanitized, which is really weird because we have um, the Vietnam War going on, right? Vietnam War was interesting for all the reasons you might imagine, but what was fascinating is that even though we saw the production code going on, which made it so that you would only have sanitized films, people were seeing they were seeing footage of the Vietnam War in their televisions for the first time ever. For the first time ever, the common person who was able to see depictions of war in their household, which really changed the game. It changed the game in a lot of different ways, and it's it was really gruesome. It was hard to imagine, and that I think was part of the reason like the war was ended. Besides the fact that it went on for so long, but I mean that was part of what really got people to organize themselves and start all these protests and the war because of all the television footage and because of all the television news that they were able to get on to spread the word so quickly. So we get into the 1970s and we end the production code. So now you can make films about just about whatever you want. It's really interesting. You get into a lot of really interesting films in the 70s, including The Godfather, including a lot of Scorsese stuff. Yeah, you can make all these really interesting films. I'm gonna try to speed this up as we're running along on time. But here, okay. Oh, real quick. If you have not yet, press like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's helping me out. It's helping me build this channel. So it's really important to me. So thank you very much. Here we go. We're getting into the 1970s. Really amazing films coming out. We're getting into the 1980s, and what makes the 80s really special is because in the 70s you can make whatever type of film you wanted, but you still needed a budget, right? You still needed distribution rights. You still needed to be able to distribute your films in theaters, which was not super easy to do. But in the 1980s, technology changed, and it made it so that you had the invention of the video, the VHS tape. And the VHS tape meant that all of a sudden you could have video stores like Blockbuster, like video stores, you know. And before we entered in the 90s and Blockbuster became just like everyone's go-to, there was mom and pop video shops everywhere, and you could rent videos from them. And why was that important? It was important because all of a sudden you could have a straight to VHS movie. You could have a straight to VHS movie, and that meant that a lot of people who did not have options previously, they could not get a budget together because they didn't have any way of distributing their film, and people didn't want to invest in them. All of a sudden, everyone could start collecting funds from people they knew. They could start making these deals because they could get distribution in video stores, which was amazing. You had a lot of really cool movies come out of this time. Really weird. I know that the Toxic Avenger came out at this time. A lot of independent stuff. I know that like stuff like Revenge of the Nerds that really would have had a hard time getting film release now was getting the releases because you could release in video stores too. I don't think it was straight to VHS, but that sweetened the deal. So like you had movies like Gremlins, you had like all these crazy movies that were just like coming out like fun crazy movies. And so we're getting into the 90s, and the 90s was interesting. It was interesting because of the way people were looking at film all of a sudden. I think it was pretty. How do I put this? I was a child in the 90s, so a lot of what I know of the cinema in the 90s, it's gonna be through a child's eyes. But they were coming out with a lot of cool family-friendly stuff. Steven Spielberg was doing a lot of family-friendly stuff. If I'm not wrong, it was him who was responsible for the movie Hook, starring Robin Williams. And you had a lot of really cool movies coming out at that time. You had a lot of again, video store movies kind of carried on. A lot coming out from Kevin Smith. A lot of independent stuff was really taking off. Sundance was really in its heyday, if I'm not mistaken. So, but what was really interesting, again, is the invention of the internet. And all of a sudden, there was a way to share video in a new way. It was still very hard because everyone had dial-up modem, and information was transferred so slowly. But you had the option of looking at videos online, which was the beginning of entering into the 2000s. The 2000s led the way in video. with the 2000s, you had new ways of sharing video. We had quicker modems. We have DSL. We have all these different ways to look up stuff really quickly. And at some point in the 2000s, I forget if it was in the, I think it was in the end of the 2000s, before the 2010s, you get the invention of YouTube, which is a huge game changer. Here we are, YouTube. That's right. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and it's really YouTube really became the game changer because you're able to distribute in new ways. And I don't know if you can see what's going on, but we started with only a select few being able to do film. Then we got to VHS, where more people could do VHS. Now we're getting to YouTube and online streaming. Even more people can do it, and more people are coming out with new films, new stories to tell, and it's really quite amazing. It's really quite interesting. It's quite the revolution that we're in the middle of right now. And this is only part of it before we enter into the next decade. And I think the next decade will show a lot of virtual reality stuff, VR stuff going on. But as for right now, you know, we're all in this YouTube streaming land, and it's really spectacular. You know, there is money to be made by so many everyday people with YouTube channels, where before you had to be a film industry professional, you had to be part of the unions, you had to be able to distribute your movie in order to get financing, in order to get funding, and everything was a certain way. But now we have the ability for everyone to get their stories out, which is quite amazing. Now, I think it means a little less for a lot of people, but it means it goes into more hands. More hands are seeing this money. So it's really shaping the way we're telling stories. And I hope to be able to tell more stories on my YouTube as the future comes out. I really am involved in storytelling. I really do love storytelling. It's really spectacular to me, and I just get a big kick out of it, you know. And again, at the end of the day, we all need to make a living, so we need to find ways of monetizing what we can monetize, because if we can't make a living, then we can't tell our stories. That's what it comes down to. So takeaway from this: you too can tell stories. You too can tell stories with bare minimum equipment these days. Get out there, tell your stories, monetize it, make a living off it. It's amazing. Do it. Again, quick reminder. Yeah, I was on Perry Mason recently, the new Perry Mason HBO. I was in Voodoo Macbeth. That World War II photo, or World War I photo out there, that was from Perry Mason. Voodoo Macbeth, I have a poster over here that I cannot get off the wall right now, but check them out. Check out The Ball Method, now available on Amazon Prime or Amazon Streaming. And check out If She Screams. I still have not seen that one, so I'm really interested to see that one. If She Screams, also available on Amazon Prime. Check it out. It has been fantastic being with you. I hope you all have a great night, great day, great life, great everything. And I hope to talk to you soon. Again, if you can, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Help me out. I hope you all have a great day, one and all. Peace.